Hello and welcome to the first episode of Boys Love the Boyfriend. That's right, folks.
You finally got us.
We're doing it.
You got us, girl.
We're doing it. Under duress, we are doing it. No. I'm very excited to watch this.
I'm excited too, yeah.
Here's the thing. We have to talk about the elephant in the room.
Yes.
The elephant in the room is that there was a lot of
during the
discourse
summer when it came out, yeah.
around this show.
Yes.
Some of it appeared on our feeds.
Yes. Every single video we released.
Oh, I don't even mean that. I mean, yes, that.
Yes, yeah.
There was a lot of like, please watch the boyfriend. His man
what?
sucks. Please watch the boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I will tell you at the end of this if it was a better season than His Man 3.
Okay.
I'll give you an honest review.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially because we don't know somebody in His Man 3. We knew someone in His Man 2. I would lie and be like, no, Damit's great.
I don't know. You were on a TikTok live with Min Song. No, with Sungmin.
Sungmin. Yeah.
You were on a TikTok live with Sungmin. So.
I was.
And he was like, "Wow, Adam."
I told him to watch our videos.
And he's like, "Oh, Adam, you're famous. Wow."
Yeah. He had 13 people on his live. So
he's been going live every single day.
That's what you do when you break up. Because nobody from His Man 3
He's
lasted.
also going. The other one, Jason has also been.
Sure, why not?
Get
what else are you gonna do?
your coin, girl.
Make your money.
Make your money.
What do you think we're doing here?
What do you think people the boyfriend did? Are doing
The Boyfriend.
The Boyfriend.
Netflix's
first
gay dating reality show.
Hailing from Japan.
Japois. Is that right? Japanese and French, I think, is Japois. There was discourse. There was discourse asking us to watch it. There was also discourse that we just tangentially saw.
Just from like people
being like, I don't. The range was wild. I don't even know.
The range was crazy.
Was like, I love the show.
I love the show.
Show's perfect. I love falling in love with
the show is so toxic and like
a lot of like
so many red flags, and it's just like so.
Some of them are toxic.
Some of them are toxic, evil people.
Yes,
and then some were like, they're in love. This is true love, and how dare you? And you could never be like the couple in this.
Well, then there were like people who...
To people that we know.
They like said... There were like people commenting on Jun Song-ho's stuff. Yeah. Being like, you'll never be daishun. Sorry, spoiler alert. We know daishun makes it. Like, you could... There is no way that we could have made it. This is not... Let's ignore Isna.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Let's pretend we don't know who makes it. Which I didn't know. I think RJ may have known more than he let on. But... there is no way there was no possible way.
There was no avoiding it. Your regular, degular, normie gay podcasts were talking about it. Just regular gay people.
Normies.
Were just watching it too.
People in our group chat texted us and said,
like, "Hey, have you
guys are definitely watching The Boyfriend,
right?"
And we were like,
No, we can't. We can't right now. We're so busy.
So, anyway, our due diligence. We were watching The Boyfriend. It was our second most voted show.
Yes.
In our most recent poll on Patreon.
So, Love in the Big City was number 1. This was number 2. Not Me was number 3. Sorry to
Not Me was number 3.
We have a very passionate Not Me voting block in our Discord, and so we apologize and hope that you rise up.
Honestly, that feels like that fits with the narrative of that show. Like the underrepresented, fight back, fight the system.
Yes. Keep fighting. And unfortunately, all the survival shows.
But that was because there's no consensus of like what one is going to be good.
Yes, there's no consensus of like which one should you focus on right now because there's going to be 3. All running at the same time.
Yep.
And there's beloveds.
Each of them has 60% of Boys Planet trainees.
Yes. Each of them have beloveds. So we can't do all of them at the same time.
Who cares? That's not what we were talking about. We're trying to talk about The Boyfriend. The Boyfriend. If I was a boyfriend. Is that Justin? That's Justin, right? Justin Bieber?
Hey, you. I want to be your boyfriend. That's the new Pow song.
Pow, right?
Pow.
The new song.
It's reincarnated. Avril said
reimagined.
Avril said, "Let me bless the children."
It's so funny that of all the we're not doing this. We're talking about The Boyfriend.
The song, The Boyfriend, yes.
The Boyfriend is a show on Netflix.
Correct.
It was released over the course of a month in 3 installments. We will be watching it in 2 episodes at a time. So we'll be watching over the course of 5 weeks. You can find our reactions on Patreon. Blah, 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 blah. Housekeeping is out of the way.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the show.
Let's meet the singles.
The hot new singles. What did you think going into this? What were your preconceived notions of anything you'd heard?
Just based on what the show is and anything.
Yeah.
I knew that they had a gig where they had to sell coffee. I knew that going in. Because I remember watching the trailer and was like, oh, we should watch this.
Yeah. I remember the trailer dropping.
Yeah. I knew...
Sorry, I have to take a sip of my American Girl Cafe souvenir mug. Crystal Light tastes better in an American Girl mug.
Is that the peach iced tea? No,
it's lemonade, girl.
Lemonade. I knew the boys. I've seen them before. I had followed them on Instagram already.
Oh, had you?
So I knew daishun, obviously, and I knew kazuto. Those were the 3 that I
I knew daishun.
That's it.
By name. I knew Dai's face.
Yeah.
I did not really know what Shun looked like.
Okay.
If you had shown me a lineup, here's what I could have told you. I could have been like, I know which one the Brazilian is.
He's not
even in the show yet. I don't even know his name. I think it's Danny. No, that's not right.
No.
Doesn't matter.
No. But we haven't met.
He's not on the show yet.
We haven't met this icon yet.
I think he probably is coming in episode 3, is my guess.
Yeah.
And I knew there was I didn't know Usak. I didn't know his name or anything, but I remember there being a really built
buff dude
guy.
Yeah.
And I remember Dai, mostly not even from the time of the show, but things that have happened after the show.
Yeah.
Their little vlogs.
Yes. The little vlogs.
That's all I knew.
Intimate vlogs.
That's all I knew about this show.
And I guess what I thought was it was going to be, from what everyone was describing it, it was it's really low stakes. It's really chill. That's how people were describing it when the show first started.
Yes.
So when the vitriol came out about what happens in the show, I was so confused.
Yes.
I was why are people so angry?
There is a curiosity I have if dating show, things that are about real people, where people get really emotionally attached to whether or not people are doing the right thing.
It happened to us with His Man 2 and 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Where people, I think because it's relationships and people feel very strongly about the correct way to behave in relationships. Right, totally. I almost wonder if it should shows like this, are these the only shows that should be released in a bingeable? Every episode is out.
Just
so you need to just watch all of it so you get the full context of the story.
Yeah.
Because it sucks when there's going to be context that's revealed later, but people have decided their opinions immediately.
Because I think it's because in a dating show, you wouldn't want that to happen to you, because you would feel the misunderstandings, if things don't go the way you immediately internalize it, because it's we all have the need to want to be in a relationship. So you imagine yourself well, if that person would do that to me, I would never want to speak to that person again. Or so then by using that aspect as the cliffhangers, I feel it just stews for people,
Yeah. I also think there is currently a facet of social media that is I need to make it clear that I know what the correct answer.
What's going on?
Listen,
here.
We're not immune to this. We have a full podcast
we
about
literally
doing this.
did it.
I want to be so clear.
Yeah.
But people will be like, oh, you're wrong for doing this. Which then turns into, and morally you have failed.
Yes.
So you are a bad person.
You're a bad person because you thought this was this
You
wrong
are
thing.
a bad seed on this earth. Love die. Love shoot. That's the energy.
Love shoot.
Love shoot.
Yes.
That's the energy. And it's a little, I think we all need to breathe.
Yeah.
Mostly because you're never going to meet these people.
Yeah. And they're...
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah. And also, they're also still people.
Right.
I have no idea how, like, they reacted.
No.
You know,
it would have to be crazy.
It must have been.
It has to be.
Because if His Man
3 had to release a statement being like, please stop bullying our contestants. Contestants, by the way.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
Survivors, more like.
But the thing is, after watching these first 2 episodes, I was like, okay, yeah, it makes everything made sense.
Okay.
Everything checked out.
Here's the conceit of the show. They're going to spend a month together in this house.
Crazy month. Long time.
Love
month.
They're going to spend a month together on the show. In this house. They're going to, as you said, work a coffee truck, which I think is very charming.
Yeah.
This podcast is only going to be about the business aspect of
Oh, yeah. Oh,
of what's
we're
going on
not
in the
talking
show.
about the relationship.
I have
side.
no idea.
We're
nor
just
do
talking
we care.
about
We actually
the business.
fast forward just to the parts where they say how much money they made.
Yes. Yeah. Because we have to analyze that.
And then through that, the point is like, find someone and whatever. But again, in comparison to the only other gay show that we have watched, there's a couple others. There's a Taiwanese one. There's a Filipino one.
There's a Hong Kong one coming out.
There's a Hong Kong one coming out. This is way lower stakes than His Man.
Yeah.
There is no, you have to call someone every day. There is no, like, you only have 7 days, right? Like, it's just feel each other out. If you make friends, you make friends. And if you don't, it's fine. Because the real stake is like, can you make this coffee truck work?
Yeah.
Which is silly on the surface, right? Because who cares? But by giving them this like
a thing to work on together.
It like everybody has a common goal.
Yes.
And the common goal isn't find yourself an individual partner. It's let's
sell
just
coffee every day.
work together.
Yeah.
And then through that, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Should you date your coworkers?
Should you marry your coworkers?
Should you marry and become a business with your partner? These are all questions we don't have answers to.
But if anyone's interested in being a mediator for Boys Love, please send your emails over.
Okay, so here are the boys.
Let's get to know these boys.
First up is Dai. Dai is 22 and a university student.
And we both went, Dai is 22.
Of all of the things I had seen outside of the show, I thought Dai was
33, 32 maybe.
And I think he, in different lighting, looks older differently.
That
there are shots on the show where I'm like,
he's gorgeous.
Full 22 years old.
Yeah.
And there are times where I'm like, that's a man.
Yeah, he's like, he's like older.
Yeah.
Like he looks like he's like been out in the sun. You know what I mean? Like because he's like his skin just looks like like he made.
I mean, it's crazy to go from watching a Korean dating show where everyone is like skin. No one understands skin like we do.
Yeah.
And then Japan is like,
we're normal. We're
regular people.
Yeah. Some people will put on makeup, but it's not like
it's not a production.
It's not a production. We don't have to doll ourselves up to that extent.
There is not as specific a beauty standard for Japan. It feels like as much as there is for Korea.
But I felt like just from what I picked up from like how people describe Dai and Shun, I was always just like, Dai is like the quiet, older type.
I thought he was quiet. I thought
Dai was like not bookish, but like definitely like the stiffer one.
Thought he was.
Yes.
I thought Dai was Namgyu from Love in the Big City. Older, quiet, a little reserved.
Yes, but like jacked.
Yes. I actually didn't even know
he
that.
was gonna be jacked.
I didn't know his body at all. I just was like, he's older, and like everyone says he is like really put upon by this other guy who seems to be a toxic monster, if you believe the rumors.
Yeah.
So I was fully like, oh, he's like older. He's being seduced by this like younger boy.
A younger who may be like flighty or something.
That was
the full story.
That's
in my
not what's
mind.
going on here.
Dai walks in. I'm 22. I'm a university student. I'm ready. I'm fun. I'm flirty. I'm ready to have a good time. And I want to.
He's got great energy.
I don't want to sleep alone. I want to find someone
Let's talk about this immediately.
So I can be in bed with someone.
I have never seen someone as horny on television as Dai. Dai is so horny. And it's extremely relatable.
I would be like, oh, you're putting me in a house with like 6-7 men?
Great.
Love it. It's crazy that we're watching Love in the Big City at the same time because I was getting a lot of Go Young from Dai. Just describing like I'm a university student, but these are all of my girlfriends and we all are just having a good time. Yeah.
Anything else about Dai? Anything you want to say about Dai's body, T?
Bitch.
It's great.
Short kings.
Shout out.
Stacked short kings.
It's these short kings.
Short kings with big
bazoomas.
Big bazoomas and a big asset to a big
These are real people, RJ.
I know. And he showed it in a vlog, Adam.
He did not show it in a vlog,
It was very
RJ.
obvious in a vlog. I'll show you the picture and you're gonna be like, oh.
Taeheon comes in next.
Bitch.
Now
okay. Now this is the hidden. I feel like they have all slept on Taeheon because he is, I think, the biggest catch.
I would be in love with him.
I would be in love with him.
Taeheon gives me type A, which I wonder if they're like getting that energy and being like, all right. Okay.
Yes.
Because he seems he's a designer.
He's a designer.
He's 34 years old. He is at this point the oldest contestant on the show. He is beautiful. Gorgeous
tan skin, highlights perfectly. I almost feel like I think it's natural. Like this, it got bleached in the sun.
Okay. No one's thinking that. No one on earth thought that.
Never mind.
But there is like, it looks really good.
Yes,
like it looks. You would be like, oh, those won't work. But like I don't know. There's something about him.
It just works for him.
He's
handsome.
Korean. He's half Korean.
He's either half Korean or like he lives in Seoul. Yeah.
It doesn't seem like Japanese is his mother tongue.
Yes. Because when they were writing the letters, he was
translating it. Truly,
gorgeous.
I need everybody to know this man is so attractive. It's crazy.
Maybe a little femme.
Sure.
He feels the most femme out of all of them.
He does. He gesticulates.
Yeah.
He's either femme or he's Italian. So we don't know.
The olive skin.
Ryota comes in next. 28 years old. Model and barista. Pale. And skinny. Slender man.
This is like Japanese model.
Slender
where
man,
it's like
parentheses, affectionate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where it's like kind of like really gender neutral vibe, right?
Yes.
And like tall and lanky. It's like the Japanese supermodel, like T.
Just like body devoid of anything. Like just like walking body.
Yes. Affectionately. Like it's
not
like,
a read.
Like
not
you
a
would
read.
want to put like high fucking fashion.
Yes. The bodies you were like, oh, you're just a walking hanger.
Yeah.
Again, not a read. But like that's the job.
Yes. Yeah. And really soft spoken. Like he's like
so quiet.
Yeah, I really like this, and I think.
And then the other thing I want to say about Ryota and Dai that we find out later is that they are both. I don't know if they would call themselves bisexual, but they like men and women.
They like men. They're attracted to both men and women.
Yep. Gensei comes in next. Gensei's 34. He's a hairstylist and makeup artist.
Honey, luscious.
Shorty,
king. Fun. I feel like Gensei is the most Chicago to me.
Gensei is Chicago.
Gensei is very Chicago gay.
Yeah.
Not like North Halstead Chicago gay, but like West Side, maybe not even Wicker Park anymore.
Logan Square.
Maybe like Logan, maybe Humboldt.
Oh.
Bikes.
For sure a biker.
Yeah.
For sure.
He just feels really chill.
Yeah.
And fun.
I like Gensei a lot.
I like Gensei a lot.
Shun comes in 5th. Shun is 23.
23 and is a musician.
A musician / DJ. First of all, I want to say this about Shun.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Pretty.
Very pretty.
The prettiest. I think the prettiest.
One. Yes.
Like pretty features.
Yes. Yeah. Very like soft, not angled jaw, like not like harsh, super masculine features, really big eyes, really big lips, like pouts a lot.
Yeah.
And seems to also be extremely insecure.
Yes. He is literally saying, I'm here to find someone to marry.
He comes in as a 23-year-old.
Basically, like, find my life partner. Life partner is the vibe.
No, he says marriage. He says, because Gensei, I do think, is one who's like, I'd like to find a life partner or something like that. Shun comes onto the show as a 23-year-old, being the second youngest person here, being like, I'm ready to settle down, get married, and then is like, and I would like to adopt. This energy, we'll get to it later because there's a moment where two things clash.
Yeah, totally.
And I was like, this makes so much sense.
This has explained every single thing.
But this is where Shun is at in his life right now.
Yes.
And we don't know for what reason. Maybe he's just very set and he's determined and he's goal-oriented. We don't know at this moment. But Shun is looking for a husband. He's here to get his MRS degree.
Yeah. He
said
that. I want to just buy a little seaside house with my husband where I can write my music.
Yeah. I want to live on a little riverboat. Sure. They're going to work this coffee truck. They decide to call. Well, at first they were like, we should call it something BL themed. Ha ha ha.
And Shun was like, if the girls who know will
then
know.
They ask AI and they
asked ChatGPT. And they said brutiful
you.
So they added you and made it personal.
So that they didn't have to pay ChatGPT.
Yeah.
Another person comes in late.
Yes.
This is Kazuto. Kazuto is 27 and is a chef.
Oh.
Take it away.
I fell in love. It was love at first sight. He's so cute.
His smile.
He's boy next door. I mean, he says it like when you find out more, he's like, my parents are rice farmers. Like, I am like the oldest, so there was a lot of pressure on me to like, take care of the family and take over the family business. But instead, I'm doing it my own way by like serving their rice at my restaurant. Just a good boy.
He makes them dinner.
Yes, he cuts them.
Filet of bonito.
Fillets right there, honey.
This is also when I learned that a bonito is not just flakes.
It's tuna.
It's also
it's a big old fish.
It's a whole fish. After dinner, they have to write letters to each other. We are flying through. By the way.
And I think that's
the point.
Yeah.
Kazuto gets a letter from taeheon. Shun gets a letter from Dai. Dai gets 3 letters from Gensei, Kazuto, and Ryota. So that means Gensei got the other letter from Shun. Taeheon and Ryota got 0 letters. Okay. And this is just preliminary
first impressions. But Dai's whole thing, the people were saying, was that he kind of is like the outgoing one, the like really approachable one, really like kind of life of the party. So it's this point when in one of the talking heads at the end of this first day where Shun was like, I'm not interested in it.
I'm not really here for any of these guys.
Yeah, I'm not really, none of them are really sparking anything.
They start to work. They're learning
how to make
stuff.
Yeah.
Dai gets paired with Shun so they can like learn how to make a latte together. And he leaves early because he's like, I have a thing to go to.
And I was like, class.
And like whatever.
Yeah.
He leaves. The camera crew goes with him.
Yeah.
And you find out that it's his 23rd birthday and he's hanging out with his good old Judy.
Yes. 4 Judys.
4 Judys.
Literally a room of Judys and then him.
And he is like, so I really like this guy named Shun. He's so attractive. He's like, he's hot. He keeps being like, he's hot.
And I think I can get him. Mm-hmm. That's the energy.
And they are egging him on. Mm-hmm. Love his friends.
Love friends.
The next day they go to the beach together. This is a chance for everybody to show off their body.
Yes,
whatever.
everyone was like, wow, Dai's body,
Taehyun's body.
Crazy. And then I think it was like Ryota.
Even Kazuto's body also.
Ryoto was like, I don't like when they're too built because it'll make you feel insecure, basically, sometimes.
Yes, and Kazuto says the thing about, he's like, I don't need them to have a nice body. They can have a little belly. But then the panel, who we haven't even talked about, but I am on the fence if I like the panel or not as of the second episode.
This episode.
They were like, oh, I don't believe that at all. Like, immediately clocked that he was maybe playing up being like a really earnest guy for the camera. It's weird because I feel like on the panels that we've seen on dating shows in Korea, they really take them at face value.
Yeah.
Whereas here, I felt like often they were like, that's not really what you think. And I was like, oh. And I do think there is a level of, you're on a show, you're being asked questions, you're going to present your best self.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the benefit of this taking a month long is like, people are not going to be able to last a whole month with this like facade version of themselves they built for the show.
Yeah.
So at some point, the masks will come off.
Yes, I also think though, like, I think Japanese panel shows are a little bit more animated than the Korean panel shows. They're like part of the entertainment, as opposed to, I feel like in the Korean ones, they're more commentary to like, for us, for the audience to like help understand what's going on.
They have this conversation about being bi.
Yes.
Dai is like, well,
I dated a woman before.
My last relationship was with a girl. And my attraction to men exists first as like a physical attraction and then emotional. And with women, it's opposite. First it's emotional, then it's physical. And Ryota said like, oh, I'm also, I like both genders, blah, blah, blah. And I knew someone, I didn't know who, but I knew they were going to cut to a talking head of someone being like, that it means there's more competition. And I think this happens a lot.
Yeah.
Bisexuals weigh in. Where people feel more insecure that you're bisexual because suddenly everyone is your enemy.
Everyone is your enemy.
Even though that's not how it works. If someone was in a relationship with you, they are in a relationship with you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the idea. Unless there's obviously, like, you have agreed upon certain things, like, blah, 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 blah. Let's put that aside for a second. Person who is similarly sexuality.
Yeah, sure.
As you. Yeah. Like, we're both gay.
Yeah.
I can easily go cheat on you as much as a bi person. Like, it's not like they're intrinsically more sexual.
That, I know. I think
seems like the equation is like, oh, you're horny for everybody, as opposed to just like anyone else. You're just horny for the people you find
you are attracted to,
right?
And that includes men and women,
right?
It's that, but it's the same. It feels the same argument of like, oh, if you're gay, like with a straight person, it's like then you're attracted to all men, and it's like I am attracted to men, but I'm only attracted to what I'm attracted to.
Right.
Just because you're a straight guy with me, I'm not like attracted to you. You know what I mean? Like it's that argument that straight guys are always like, whoa, what you think like you want to you're what to me, and it's like
I think the like secret thing about it is that like I think a lot of straight guys are just attracted to all women to some degree. So anyway, that was the conversation there. Then they go to the club.
Because they do go to the club, and in the club, they're all fam.
They're all something. They go to the gay club. They're like, you're going to meet someone.
You're going to meet the new contestant. They're in the club. Okay, they're drinking champagne.
They're in the club. They're all
Mud
fam.
and Shamden. They're drinking drinks. And Miss Dai is like, okay, let's do something like crazy.
He's had a half a sip of his drink.
One glass of champagne. And he's like, you guys.
Oh my God. Totally bonkers idea.
Now that we're loosey-goosey, let's play a little drinking game. And if you lose, you have to show someone here who you're interested in.
And then, wow, he lost. So he chooses.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. I didn't even remember how to play rock, paper, scissors.
Oh my God. I lost.
Crazy. He chooses to share his information with Shun. You could choose anyone.
So on his phone, which I didn't even realize it's a parallel to later.
Yes.
He shows on his phone.
I like you.
I like
I'm
Shun.
Assuming or something.
It's just the name.
It's just Shun's name.
But it was him and Gensei. I don't remember who Gensei wrote. Did Gensei write Dai?
I don't think Gensei wrote a name.
He did. He looked at two
at two phones. I'm sorry. I think he wrote a name.
Yes.
I don't think the production is interested. I'm going to say this. The start of the show, Daishun come in, they get their own special package as an entrance.
Yeah.
Because the production of this show
has already filmed the whole show.
And they
have everything.
This is the storyline.
This is the story that
These other guys are here. They're lovely. You'll get to know them.
They're cute.
Right?
Yeah.
You're
sweet.
not here for them. We're going to tell you right now, you are here
you are
going to
pay attention.
And you're here for Shun.
You are going to pay attention to these two. Mm-hmm. So make sure you're
I don't even
track.
remember if we found out.
He says it, but it was so quick.
And Shun immediately is like,
oh.
He sees that he's the girl, and he's like, oh, okay. And
they get treated to a performance.
A go-go dance performance. And then they realize that one of the go-go dancers is the new guy. This is Usak.
Yes. Kazuto was like, he's famous.
He is the most famous go-go dancer in Japan.
In Japan. Which, like, I guess I'm not in the go-go community or, like, keep up with go-go daily. So, like, it's just funny to be like, he's the most famous go-go dancer.
Well, because I don't think... Because adult video is... Which is what porn is called in Japan. I do know that. AV is like such a different thing. It's not as like publicly okay as it is in America.
Yeah.
And it's like half okay here. But
yeah.
So like on their flyers for their clubs, it would not be,
name any.
I have to reach back. I don't know the current girls.
All the names are old. I mean,
they're all OnlyFans now. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Reese Rideout's still out there doing his thing.
There's no way.
I think he's still doing work
Sweetheart,
out there.
I can tell you, Reese Rideout is not a person because his name is Nick Dent now, and he only has straight sex on OnlyFans.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Who's the one that they usually will put on there? A Cade Maddox,
Sure. A Brock Banks.
Yes. Oh, the Banks. Yes.
Yeah.
The whole Banks family.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've seen Brock Banks before.
Okay. No, we've lost all of them. We've lost all of them. It doesn't matter. So instead, they would have like
at the actual go-go dancers.
Here's the go-go dancers.
Yes.
Here's the highlighted go-go dancer.
And Kazuto was like, oh yeah, he's like in all of the flyers.
He's go-go dancer. He's 36 years old.
He is officially the oldest.
Is the built man.
Yes.
He's Mr. Muscles.
He's a bodybuilder T. I mean, like not a percentage of fat on it.
We find out that Usak, we're now in episode 2, by the way. We find out that Usak drinks boiled chicken smoothies.
I will say, I'm going to say this to everyone that commented the boyfriend to us. You didn't warn us about this monstrosity.
Right. We're talking about red flags. This is a red flag.
Chicken shakes.
I have listen, and his job is very specific and it is very different from mine. Blah, 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 blah. This is not even a read on him.
No, I understand
it's more the community.
That is your job. Like it's if that's what you're doing, yes, you have to do what you have to do because your job, that's your livelihood.
Job is appearances.
Your livelihood is this body.
Right.
So that makes sense.
totally
makes sense. We as a community,
we can't
glorify this.
We can't. This is. It's not great.
It's not great.
I understand why people are doing it.
Yes.
You're trying to get all those macros or
Diva,
whatever the fuck.
I get it, girl.
But there has to be. We're seconds away from just like injecting IV fluids into our bodies just to be like, well, I had my
It's just
amount
funny.
of protein
The shakes are crazy because he could just do like actual shakes. Like just do like isolate whey protein shakes.
But I think this is like even better protein, right? Because it's like
natural?
actual.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to shock all of you. I've never had a boiled chicken smoothie. I don't want to alarm anybody. This is his plot line for this episode is that
chicken,
he eats chicken.
And what are we going to do with the chicken budget?
Okay. They are supposed to make 6,000 yen a day.
They have to live off of 6,000.
They have to live off 6,000 yen a day, basically.
The money that they make in the cafe is extra.
Uh-huh.
They just have a set budget of like 200,000 yen.
Yeah, for the whole month. So that it equates around 6,000 yen a day. Mr. Usak's chicken
is costing them 800 yen a meal.
He eats 3 of them a day.
Yeah.
So he's putting away on his own 2,000. He's putting away a third of their money on just his boiled chicken smoothies.
Yeah.
And they have to like sit down and be like, we can't. This is not how it's going to work, girl. You have to go under 1,000.
And Dai is because Dai's
a business major, unfortunately.
And Dai's sitting there like giving a consultation to Usak of like, we just have to think,
Do you know the guy on TikTok who does he goes over their finances with people and he'll be like,
he's like,
why did you buy a car when your car payment is $1,400 a month? And they were like, well, I needed a new car. And he was like, you didn't need a new car.
You didn't need a car.
Anyway, that was what Dai was doing with Usak. And Usak listened, to his credit.
He's listening. He's not happy, but he's listening. And he's
really not angry.
But he's not angry. No.
He's just like, well, that's what it is.
That's what I should have got. Yeah. That's what I got myself into.
So they start to work at the truck. Ryota, they are going to work in pairs of 2. This is how they're setting up that everyone is able to like go on little dates, basically.
Yes.
In lieu of dating, they're going to go work together. Which is, I don't know, that's cute.
Because they're not putting them in like rush hour, okay?
No.
They are putting them in like picturesque spots where their only customers are like hiking.
Well, based on the first day, they're putting them where no one is because they sold 1,700 yen, which is $11 worth of goods.
And when they reacted, like they all reacted like, oh wow, that's great, and we had to be like,
but the panel was like, that's awful.
That's $10, mama.
Yeah. They sold 2 drip coffees and we're like, nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. We were there for 12 hours.
We got it. We got this, guys.
We got the gig, girl. Okay. Ryota, so what happens is somebody gets assigned, they get to pick a partner, they go work together. Mm-hmm. Ryota ends up picking Gensei for the first time, and Gensei is like, I'm pretty sure Ryota's into me.
I think he wrote my letter because he said like, oh, isn't this funny? Like,
our handwriting will give it away.
You would know, yeah, your handwriting give it away. And he was like, so I'm pretty sure it's his. And the panel was like, girl, your handwriting does not look the same.
Because Ryoto wrote it to Dai. Mm-hmm. Ryoto likes shun.
You wrote it down. Who did they write down letters to?
In the initial letter, he said Dai.
But he ends up liking shun.
Because when Shun says he likes Dai, he's like, oh.
Oh, yep, got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's this like chat in a steam room that's at the house. It was just a chance to look at Usak's
sweaty tits.
Basically, I don't really remember what the conversation was.
Because it was Gensei and Ryota with them. Mm-hmm. And Gensei was like, I don't think I've ever seen someone so muscly this up close before.
Yeah.
And Usak was like, thank you.
It was very much like, you're Beyonce. Thank you. It was very much what it gave. Also, Usak, I get he came in the end of the first episode. Right. We've only watched 2. He had nothing to do.
Yeah.
He literally his whole existence on the show this episode was just he eats chicken.
He eats the chicken.
It's crazy.
He's like, I work every night, so I'm not there when all of you guys are like getting to know each other and playing games. But he does kind of like talk about how it's hard for him to kind of find a partner because of his like lifestyle and what he has to do. Mm-hmm. It's hard to find someone that kind of will be stable.
Well, I think it would also be extremely difficult to find someone who is secure enough in themselves that they would not be, not only like he's a go-go dancer, his job is to be ogled at.
Yes, totally.
Which is a fair and like great. That's totally fine. But it's more like I would be like, oh, I'm not. I would feel very bad about myself because even if he didn't care one way or the other, like it's more like you put so much time into your appearance and I clearly don't. Oh. So that's all. Okay. Dai and Shun made 9,000 yen when they worked the coffee truck together.
Yeah.
Shun talks about his past relationships.
The pieces
come together
are
so
coming
quickly
together on episode 2, and I was like, yeah, I get it.
Shun explains he was with a guy who was a bit of a player, who broke his heart, and this is what he's coming out of. So I think if we go back and we think about his whole thing of being like, I'm really just looking for Mr. Right. Mm-hmm. I think this is I don't want to use the term rebound because he's not looking for a rebound specifically, but like he is going from the one end of the spectrum to the other. I had a crazy guy. I'm going to go for Mr. Perfect.
Yes. And the panel even clocked him of like, he is putting so much pressure in the result of this show that I think is kind of his blinders are on.
He fully came on the show. I mean, first of all, he came on this show, a show where you are supposed to just meet guys over the course of a month and work at a coffee truck.
Yeah.
To be like, whoever I meet here,
it's The Bachelor,
is going to be the man that I spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
You have put so much pressure on this nothing situation.
Yeah.
For no reason.
Yeah.
You've done that to yourself, which is a bummer because I think I was like that when I was like that age, where I was like,
totally. Every relationship is going to be.
I was like, this is the last one.
This is the last one.
I never have to do this again after this. Mm-hmm. And guess what?
You had to come around.
The one that I didn't think was the one ended up being the one. You know what I mean? Gensei misunderstands. He thinks Ryoto likes him. Ryoto likes Shun. Gensei is now like, well, I don't want to give in now because like once we both start liking each other, that's it.
That's it. It's gonna be crazy. The rest of the show is gonna be ruined. So I don't want to go yet. He has formed like a bestie relationship with Dai though. They're like sisters. Sweet. Yeah, they're very cute.
Taeheon works with Shun.
Mm-hmm. And Taeheon is like kind of bumbling in the cafe. He like messes up
he hits his head. He
messes up with the orders. Mm-hmm. I think it's because I think it's the type A thing, and he's like out of his element, you know.
Yes. And he's a designer. It's like a fully different energy. Like I am in love with him.
I know.
They keep playing these games. And the games are like, do this, and if you lose, you have to tell who you like. And they do this multiple times. Yeah. First, it's the rock, paper, scissors. Then there's the Jenga. Then there's that one. Then this one. Then that one. They keep doing this game. Finally, Shun loses one of the games and has to tell who he likes. So he whispers to Ryota, who likes him. I like the guy with the name at the top of the surfboards. And it's Dai. So we have a link. Girls.
Yes.
We link. Okay? Daishun linked. Then basically the next scene is Dai and Shun are hanging out on the couch. By the way, I don't understand what's going on this couch. It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen in my life. I have not commented on this. I hate it. Fine. They're hanging out on the couch. Dai is like, has given his phone.
He's
over
like, look
to
at this
Shun.
funny picture.
He's like, look at this funny picture. Shun has the photo. Somehow, allegedly, he gets out of the app to where you go from like the picture photo to now you have the whole grid.
All the pictures.
Okay? And he's like, oh, and he gives the phone back. Because Dai, being the 23-year-old with the body that looks like that, had nudes on his phone.
Mm-hmm.
Shun's reaction to this, because he's like, he basically had photos that you would have on a dating site.
Yeah.
And I was immediately turned off because I was like, oh, he's a player. And I understand.
And they have had, we don't see it, but they have gotten close and they have been like
flirty, whatever.
Touchy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I understand that Japanese gay culture and American gay culture are two
Totally.
different gay cultures, right? I wouldn't bat a fucking eyelash.
I know.
In fact, in American gay culture, those pictures would have already been shared 20 minutes after they have met.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
I don't know how much I believe this story that Shun gives, where he was like, I just so happened to not be able to know how to use a phone anymore.
And I went to the photos accidentally.
Don't know how much I believe it. I am not saying... I think he knew that there was a possibility that he
was going to find what he's looking for.
And I don't actually think it was to see pictures of it, because I don't think that was what he wanted. I think he wanted to know, is Dai a douchebag?
Yes.
Because for him, it is a reveal that he is like a jerk.
Yeah.
Basically.
I just needed to know, like, is he actually what I've been feeling or what he's giving off this entire time?
Uh-huh. And he is like, it's not.
Yeah.
He gets so upset about this.
Yes.
That he like cries.
Yeah.
Because I think based on the conversation, this is the only thing I will say. This is one of the negatives of the show.
Yeah.
Is like, because it goes so fast, they cut so much out.
So we're losing so much context.
Right.
About anything.
Yeah.
It just goes from one thing to another. Literally, like last episode, they're just getting to know each other. And now like they're canoodling and he sees his nudes.
Yeah. It's wild. So
no wonder people have like confused emotions about like them, you know?
He is looking for, you know what? It's actually really funny. It's actually really funny now that I think about it. The irony of this show and the audience that was the way it was about this show. And Shun being the person who came on the show being like, I wanted to find Mr. Perfect and then one flaw. And he's like, I'm out of town.
Yeah.
Get me out of here.
I can't do it.
I got to break out of these walls.
Yeah.
Compared to the audience who's like, one little thing done wrong. And they're like, monster, evil.
Yeah.
Maybe we need to reflect.
Maybe we need to do that. Maybe we're not watching Netflix right now. Maybe it's a mirror.
Oh. Maybe it's one of those mirrors where there's like a TV in the mirror.
Oh,
like in your bathroom.
Yeah.
In a nice hotel.
In a nice hotel. And you're like, you know what? I am going to watch Good Morning America while I shower.
Yes. While I'm in the shower.
Yes. I'd like to know the weather.
So I think that's very interesting. I think it sucks for Shun.
It sucks for Shun. It sucks for Dai too, because like I think Dai did not think it was a big deal at first, because he wouldn't have just given his phone away, right?
No.
But because of how he reacted, I think he realized like, oh shit, like I need to stop thinking about like, can't assume everyone is just on my level of comfort or whatever.
I want to say this about Dai and Shun though.
Yeah.
I already said I think Shun, there was a little bit of like Shun was looking for something.
I think Shun wanted to know. Want to prove to himself that like, no, this can't be real. Yeah.
But I also think that Dai, those pictures were recently taken.
Yes.
If they are right there.
If they were just a few swipes back, he took them in the fucking wherever. Yeah. Like it's fresh.
Correct.
And there was a little bit of like, maybe I want him to accidentally kiss.
That is 100% what I thought too.
We know gay men,
but
guys.
Also like,
this is what we do.
I think I don't think either of them are bad for what they necessarily did or whatever. No. I just think like they were at different points in where they were
That's
coming
how dating works. You try a thing and see if it like the other person will reciprocate, or like see how they react, and if they react poorly, or and then you just learn and you keep doing it again, like you do it another thing.
It is actually interesting because I think a lot of the times gay, or like the shows we've watched, similar type people end up together. So it's interesting that these two
are complete opposites.
They are very opposites, but they have incredible
chemistry.
Even from the nothing that they've shown us on the show.
They want to like be on each other.
Yes.
Like the sexual chemistry is thick.
Yeah. But I also don't think it's just sexual. Yeah, like I do think true. They like there's a scene where like Shun gets sick and Dai comes and like gives them medicine. It's very sweet. Yeah. Like I think they really genuinely like each other. And I think that's the reason that Shun gets so upset about it.
Yeah.
Is because he actually liked Dai. Yeah. And it was like, oh, I had started to build up the
fantasy.
This, my white knight, not a Lancelot, nor an angel with wings.
Just someone who loves me. And is not afraid. Ashamed of a
few nice things?
I thought it was afraid.
Who's not ashamed of a few nice things. And so that started to crack.
Yeah.
Which it was inevitably going to do. Now, again, I like that the show is a month long, because if this was his man, they would already be done.
Then it's done. Yeah. This is done.
They have a chance to rebuild.
Yes.
And Dai has this like speech where he's like, I'm really sorry you saw that. Like, I was not trying to,
Yeah.
I would not have made that a thing available to you if I knew you would like
this is how
freak
you
out,
react.
blah, blah. I am a genuine person.
Yes.
And I think that's also possible.
Yes, and he says like, I want you to know that you don't have to worry about that with me. I will, if we were in a relationship, I would be caring and would protect you. And this is when Shun opens up about like, this is why, because I literally just went through this, and that's the last thing I want.
I get it, sweetie. I get it. Kazuto and Ryota.
Yes.
Go work together.
Kazuto picks Ryota.
Kazuto's also barely in the show because he's also been working.
Yes. But Kazuto also gets the weird, like, when they do the introductions, Dai and Shun got a weird cutaway, almost like it was Blair Witch Project, of like a future thing that they say in the show.
It's the G-Man edit from fucking Island 2.
G-Man, yes! Where they're like, he wasn't who I thought he was, blah, blah, blah. But Kazuto gets one too. So like...
But I can't tell who the fuck it's about.
Yeah, me neither. But he's gonna be the second character, I guess. Yeah. Like he's the other one that we need to look at.
This is when he shares this story about the rice, his parents being rice farmers. We find out a lot of the contestants on the show are from like more rural areas in Japan.
Yeah.
And I think that's like...
Oh, and Taeheon, we didn't even say that he wasn't out to his family. And this was his way coming out to his family.
Anyway, I think, it's very, I think this is nice that they worked this in of like the explanation of like who you are, what the expectation for your life is, the little bit of like, it's not necessarily the coming out story, right? I think coming out specifically is more Western in its idea, because we are so loud and abrasive. Yeah. Whereas like obviously Japanese culture, Korean culture, it's more just fit in. Yeah. Just fit in and be fine.
Yes.
So it's not like I have to announce my life story to every single person I ever meet.
Yeah.
But there's still a level of, I realized the thing about myself, and I realized like I couldn't, be who my parents thought wanted to be.
Well, it's interesting that we're watching this after Itsei, because there's that level of what it means to be gay in Phuket, right? And like how they explore that in Itsei, that I think when we hear about these stories of like provincial born people like learning about their like queer identity and like basically having to come to terms of like, I can't be the person that my family, my culture, what they're used to, and like coming to terms with that. I didn't know what we were gonna get into with the show. Like, are we gonna get just one episode like in His Man where everyone tells their coming out stories, or are we going to see like how it manifests? But I think because the show takes a month long, they are able to kind of make these have these conversations, because they have said that like a lot of the contestants have said like, I'm also here just like make friends, like make gay friends.
Yeah.
Friends that are all that already are like me. And so I don't have to feel the pressure of like not having any friends.
And that already feels like it's happening, which is
I know.
great. I love that.
It feels like they're already close.
Yeah.
Which is really sweet.
He shares in that conversation, he like says the thing when he's talking to Ryota where he's like, you grow up and you think it's supposed to be that you grow up and you marry a woman, you have kids, and you blah, blah, blah. And I think this refrain is so often heard in these shows, right? Like so many people from every culture, when they share about realizing they're gay, that is what they go through, is like the feeling of, oh no, I'm not like everyone else. And it can start to feel like, yeah, we know you feel that way. But it is, for those of you who are straight watching this and you're like, I don't think there's any part of me that had that experience, that's fine.
Yeah.
But it is, because it happens in adolescence when your sexuality really starts to blossom and like fully develop into who you are.
Right.
It is that time of your life too. It's the problem. The worst part is that it's the time of your life when you were the most cognizant of like, I want to just fit in so that I am not noticed in a way that does not reward me. Right. Like I want to be seen as like a good person or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I want to like be recognized in other ways. I want to be a good student maybe or whatever, but I don't want to stand out as the one loner off to the side because of something that I have no control over.
Yeah.
And there is, because it is at that point in your life when a lot of people realize this about themselves, it feels like a bad, you like got the worst hand in Uno. Mm-hmm. And you're just like, oh my God, you gotta be like, kidding me.
Now on top of this too, yeah.
I already have acne and this. It's both.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah. It's not nothing, right? So I like that he was able to share a bit about that.
And then it's Shun's turn to work, and he has to pick. And they tease that like we don't know who he's gonna pick, and they play the little montage of all of his moments would die in the episode. And then we got to the panel who's like, what? You're not going to tell us? Credits.
It's wild. It's the wildest. I can't believe this is how the episodes end.
I think it's so funny.
It's really funny. Okay, so here's my question. Mm-hmm. On the count of 3, we're each going to say who we would pick to work with us at the truck. Uh-huh. Okay? 1, 2, 3.